Hi, so I wanted to post a video talking about an important issue that's you know, near and dear to my heart. I realize I'm a mess. I just woke up. My hair is sloppy and yucky and gross, but I don't care because there's some things that are more important than looks. A lot of things, in fact. So, where I live, we live in temporary emergency housing because we've been struggling with homelessness after um, ending an abusive relationship. So yeah, we live in a hotel, me and my kids. It's actually a shelter though. It's an abandoned hotel. It's kind of like run down, and they converted it into a homeless shelter. So I've I've been observing a lot of the people around me and just like processing everything and making like my own mental notes about what I see and what I'm experiencing here. And what I've noticed is that a lot of the mothers around me are making the same mistakes that I made years ago or even in my early 20s. And I can see some of the same attitudes, behaviors in them that I used to have in myself. And I wish that I could like shake them awake and like wake them up to the reality of the situation and life and everything. And yeah, it's kind of difficult when you see these women going down the same path that you were and making the same mistakes. And yeah, you just observe because you don't want to interject into something that's not your business. But if I could transfer my knowledge onto them of the mistakes that I made with my children, then, if it worked like that, then maybe I could save them some heartache. So I noticed like a lot of the women here are like hyper focused about their freedom and doing their own thing, and sometimes getting drunk or high, or sometimes like just spending time with their boyfriends. And I'm just, I think back to the mistakes that I made as a young mother, um, and the inevitable like results being that I lost custody of my two older children because of my reckless and irresponsible behavior, because I was codependent on men that were very abusive. And so, because of that, I failed to provide a safe environment for my children. I also had a history of addictions, which I've arrested, thank God. And my sobriety date is back in 2017. So it's been quite a while. But if I could transfer the knowledge of my mistakes onto these women to like help them avoid the pitfalls. What I regret most about having lost my kids is that when they were younger and they loved and adored me and respected me, and I took that for granted. And now they're not around. Um, no, they're not in foster care, which many of you would be like, oh, well, that's great that they're with family. You should be grateful that they're with family and not strangers. Really? Because this family that they're with treats me worse than a stranger. She villainizes me. She slanders me to everyone that will listen. She manipulates my children into hating me and not trusting me, and tells everyone I'm the bad guy. Anyone who will listen. And it's difficult because the ways covert narcissists operate is they are very good at manipulating people. They are very passive aggressive as well. And they have this way about them of just like making people believe what they say, even when it's not true. And the truth is, people don't want to generally find out for themselves what the truth is. Often people will take what someone says and run with it, especially if that person, has a notable reputation. I miss my kids more than anything. There's so much that I would do differently today. I would have got sober sooner. I would have got help with my codependency sooner. I would have realized like the importance of stability and how difficult, to deal with this homeless crisis everywhere is. I would have fought to stay in one of the townhouses that we were in and to just have my ex extracted. But when they say that when abusive women are in relationships, like everyone pressures the woman to leave because, well, even if the man leaves and goes to jail, he could do like what he did with us and like get out of jail and come right back home. And there's no real protection. Like, yeah, there's laws in place, but in my experience, like they're rarely ever enforced like the way they should be. So yeah, I see these other mothers, taking for granted the fact that they have these beautiful little kids that adore them and want to spend all their time with them, and just want their love and attention. And I envy these mothers that still have the chance to make things right with their kids because they're right there. They're right there in front of them. Some women no longer have that luxury. Some of us lost our kids, and we don't have the option to see them or communicate with them. Sometimes women lose their kids through closed adoptions. Sometimes they just lose their kids to disgruntled family members that slander them and ostracize them and wish them dead. So yeah. I know it's sinful and wrong to, be jealous, but I can't help it. I can't help it. And it gets me, like, I get angry because I see a lot of these stupid bitches taking their beautiful lives and their beautiful children for granted by either putting drugs or booze first, or putting their boyfriend first, or putting money first, or putting work first, putting anything first. It's different for everyone. But I see these women, I just want to shake the fuck out of them or like slap them and just be like, wake up. Your kids are here today, right in front of you, wanting your love and attention. They may not always be there. They may not always be in front of you, wanting your love and attention. And sometimes, once they're gone, and that's it. I have my 2 babies in my full-time care. But having my babies will never replace my older children that I lost, and will never repair the pain in my heart, the emptiness that I feel from being separated from my children. And that's the truth. So all you mothers that think, oh, well, that'll never happen to me, I would never lose my kids, da 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 da, All it takes is one malicious report to child welfare and your kids could be gone in an instant. All it takes is one mistake that could be seen as negligent and your kids are gone in an instant. All it takes is one bad fight with that one bad boyfriend and your kids are gone in an instant. And when they take them, like they so often do in those circumstances, your kids are gonna end up resenting you and blaming you and not understanding. And then you have to also carry that. So not just your own shame and hurt, but their hurt too, and knowing that you hurt them. So all these women that want to put drugs and booze and fucking codependent bullshit, abusive, narcissistic boyfriends above their children, think again. Give your head a shake. Because those darling, beautiful children that are annoying the fuck out of you today, if they were gone tomorrow, you could lose your whole life. Because I'm telling you, the despair of losing your children will make you want to take your life. If you're, anything like the kind of mother that I was, and that I always wanted to be a good mother, but I never had a good example, and I was never shown how. And then I had a lot of my own issues too. But yeah, there's nothing that I can do really to make these women wake up other than to just be an example. But it's difficult when you see someone like hitting the same pitfalls and difficulties as you, and you wish you could just transfer your wisdom and your knowledge about those circumstances, but it doesn't work like that. I would give anything to have my daughters back and repair those relationships. But instead, they're stuck with a relative that's very toxic towards me, slanders me, hates me, and completely villainizes me. So that's our situation. So just remember that while you may be crying that your kids are so annoying and you never get a break and you just want some time to yourself, in another part of the world, there is a mother crying because she wishes that she could get her kids back, and she wishes that they would be there to annoy her and smother her and still be in her life.